So the largest snake or the largest Burmese python was called Florida. So if you do not know, in Florida, the Burmese python was introduced to Florida, likely probably during a hurricane. They happen in Florida quite frequently, and someone probably owned a couple of them, and they escaped to the wild, and we never found them, and they started secretly multiplying, and that's how it is. So yes, they caught as a captured a massive Burmese python in Florida, the largest specimen of the invasive species ever caught in the state. So actually, if you don't know, Burmese pythons and not in Florida, but in Asia you can't kill a Burmese python because in Asia they are endangered, but in here they are invasive species because they're not supposed to be here. They're supposed to be in Asia. That's what they're called, Burmese pythons, because they're not native to Florida. The Florida Wildlife and Fish Conservation Commission has measured a snake 18 feet and 9 inches in length, a new record for the Sunshine State. A previous largest one was caught 18 feet and 8 inches, captured in 2014. The largest record biggest snake was caught October 2nd on near the L28 tieback canal. It was 25 miles west of Miami by snake hunters Ryan Ashburn Kevin Peters, who work on South Florida Water Management District and WCE, respectively. And yeah, Burmese pythons, of course, are native to Southeast Asia and are actually considered endangered in Southeast Asia. There's actually more for actually there's more pythons in Florida than in Southeast Asia, and they become established in South Florida likely because they are kept as exotic pets, and how they probably escaped was after a hurricane hit, and the buildings of course were destroyed and the snakes were able to escape, which is the most likely how they were able to establish a population. Population estimates variability, but the snakes are hard to detect, but there could be over 300,000 really in the state as well. They have no natural predators in the region. They were able to reproduce rapidly, and they can live up to 100 years in sexually mature, where females give 100 eggs or clutch a year. And they're one of the most concerning invasive species in the Everglades because they compete with non-native wildlife for food and eat native animals. Scientists have linked significant population declines of some mammal species such as raccoon, possums, bobcats to a Burmese python invasion. In an attempt to combat the spread of the invasive species, the state introduced python elimination program in 2017. As a part of this program, pregnant state hunters can earn money for catching the snakes. A day rate plus bonuses depend on the size of python, whether it's nesting female. They have removed 5,000 pythons from the Everglades ecosystems. And today's record-breaking capture shows that increased efforts are working to get pythons out of the precious Everglades system. And yeah, these pythons are pretty bad. They're pretty bad here. Together with our partners in the public health, we can restore the Everglades and combat the harmful python that hurt Florida's native wildlife. Or the removal of the behemoth Burmese python is a triumph of our native wildlife and habitats. FWC Commissioner Wadi Barato said a statement is a great example of a partnership between FWC and the South Florida Water Management District, working on the leadership of Ron DeSantis towards the goal of moving these non-native predators as well. In a Facebook post, Barato said that described how he and Ashburn pulled the beast snake from the wastewater in the middle of the night deep in the Everglades. I have never seen a snake anywhere this size as well. And then every python we catch could be potentially dangerous, but one this size lethal. One mistake, and for sure going to the hospital. And in Florida, it's illegal to release non-native species because in Florida, a lot of invasive species out in Florida. There's a lot of, there's also monkeys in Florida. There's parrots in Florida. There's a lot of animals in Florida that, especially parrots who are kept as pets. People just release them when they don't longer want them because they know they're going to survive in Florida. And yeah, there we go. And yeah. And of course, hurricanes happen as well, which is another big problem in Florida. And yeah, animals can easily escape if a hurricane hits in Florida. Hundreds of dogs and cats that are mistreated, birds and other animals are mistreated, could easily escape if a hurricane hit, and are now living in the wild, essentially. But yeah, Burmese python have negative impact that they have on local ecosystems. As they has an exotic pet amnesty program to help non-native animals being released in the wild by preventing owners from exotic pets that no longer can keep them a legal way to give them up. So yep, there we go. So the pythons, the largest one ever caught, and yep, that's basically it. Goodbye.